Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest in the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today's guest is Sarah Barnes-Humphrey, and she's founder and CEO over at Let's Talk Supply Chain. And we got an episode today. We're going to be talking about podcasting, the AI interactive podcast experience that Sarah and her team have been working on, and a whole lot more. So first off, Sarah, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, so I'm excited. I'm like, I get to talk about podcasting today. Like, that's what I like talking about. But then this new thing we got going with AI and your interactive experience, like, I'll be upfront. I was on your website playing with it. And and for everybody that's listening, it's letstalksupplychain.com. And I got to test drive the experience and the AI experience. And let me tell you, it was amazing. So I want to get into that, and we're going to get into more, of course. But Sarah, we'll start this episode the way that we start them all, with what we like to call our Mission Matters Minute. So Sarah, at Mission Matters, our aim and our goal is to amplify stories for entrepreneurs, for executives, for experts. That's what we do. Sarah, what mission matters to you?
Well, we create safe space for conversation so people can feel seen and heard. And we're hoping to impact, I want to say, 500,000 people a year.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Impact. So I want to let's go back. Let's get into that impact. But before, how did you get started in this business? Let's talk supply chain. I obviously see the term founder for your media brand. Like, where'd this start? Like, where'd all this start for you?
It's a bit of a story. So I ended up in the industry right out of high school. So my parents owned a logistics company, and I'd been talking about supply chain at the dinner table since I was 9.
Stop.
So
Are you serious?
Part of my bio is that I think it's actually in my blood.
Yeah.
And so I've been in the industry over 25 years. I actually spent first 20 years of my career in logistics. So I started off as reception, and I handled goods moving by truck, by ocean, by air freight.
Wow.
I was in the warehouse. I was part
So
of
you've literally in your time period, just to be clear, for some timestamps here, like in my mind, I'm thinking like I'm one of the first Amazon Prime, like, I think, members. I think I've been 15 plus years or something like that. So my point being, not just Amazon, but you've seen this entire renaissance and infrastructure build up in logistics through COVID, through way before that. So you have a super unique context. Am I off on that?
No, you're totally right. And I had the opportunity to work throughout the organization. So I was able to touch different components of it. And that's why I'm able to talk a lot about it, is because I've lived the experience. I've been in the industry. I've done operations for 8 years. I've done sales for 8 years. And near the end of that part of my career, I was director of sales and marketing, and we needed to tell our brand story. And I decided back in 2016 that I would start a podcast to do that.
Wow. What now did you know what it was going to turn into, or was it just like, let me rephrase that question. So did you think it was going to be just starting a podcast, or did you kind of did you know it was going to turn into like a bigger media brand? I'm just curious if I can take you back in time a bit.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Listen, when we originally put the podcast out, I asked a gentleman who was a colleague to be my co-host, and we wanted to see how far we could push the industry at the time. And so we called it tongue in cheek, Two Babes Talk Supply Chain, to see how far we could push the industry. And it worked, because we got 1,000 downloads overnight one night.
Whoa.
And so I knew I was on to something.
And that's not common. Like, that's just not common to be like, wait a minute, everybody listen to that? Like, that's amazing. And that was early on, right? Like, that's amazing. Go ahead.
And I hate to say it, but like our earlier YouTube videos, which are really, really bad, like we didn't do a very good job, are still on YouTube. I should probably try to erase them, but I don't even think I can.
I took my ours down. Like, it's very similar to what we were doing. Like, on our end, we started the first podcast. I know I started it because the other co-founder, Shirag, he didn't want to do it. And I'm like, said we're doing a podcast. I don't even know if I knew what a podcast was at that time. So I had no idea. But what I like about this too, though, and as I saw your backstory, and this is just for everybody listening that think that they're maybe in an industry and or something that doesn't necessarily need and or like there's not room for a media outlet or something else like that. Like this is a great example when you think about like a thriving platform and through a podcast and other media distribution for logistics. Unless you're in that industry, you wouldn't know, like from the outside looking in. So I look at it and I think about it and I'm like, all industries can have that. Like it'd be a great dentist, a great CPA, a great, like every different industry can have their industry niche, like podcasts and things that people are going to find highly entertaining.
Yeah, well, and going back to your, you were the Amazon Prime first users or whatever.
I'm very proud about my orders. I think last year I did over 500. I'm very proud about these
Wow.
orders. Go ahead, please.
I
I'm doing my part to fuel the logistics industry now with my
Yes, you
online
are.
orders.
You absolutely are. I need to go check my numbers. No, but when I started, I actually bought a podcast. It was a Bow Ringer podcast kit, which I don't think you can find on Amazon anymore, but that's exactly how I got started. I bought a podcast kit on Amazon.
Wow. And so I want to stay in the earlier days a little bit longer here. We're going to get into, of course, what you're doing now and your progress and obviously the partnership and what you're doing with AI and the interactive experience. But this is kind of like I like to work in a pay it forward question like this whenever I can, especially from somebody that's been doing this for a while. So what kept you in the game and what kept you going in the early days? Because there's a lot of people in the industry that have started podcasts, other things, but they kind of somewhere along the way they just stop. I'm curious what kept you going.
Yeah, your mission changes, and I'm going to use mission because we're on Mission Matters. Your mission changes.
Your mission does matter, but continue. Yes,
but it does change. It changes because you have different reasons for doing it throughout, and I've had different reasons for doing it. I had different reasons at the beginning than I did in the middle, and that I do right now. And I think as you learn and progress and figure out what is possible and break some of those glass ceilings to say, hey, I'm here, I'm going to try this thing. It might work, it might not.
Yeah.
You really change what that looks like for you and why you get up in the morning and why you want to do it. And so initially for me, it was to help tell the brand story.
Right.
When I was no longer able to work at that company and was out on my own, and had nowhere to go, it was the obligation that I had to the companies that had paid to come on the show, which got me up every morning to say, hey, okay, I've got to do this. I don't know how to create graphics, but I'm going to do it anyways because I have to. And those graphics were absolutely horrible. Nobody would ever hire me as a graphic designer. But I did it anyways. It was more out of obligation. And it was more out of, well, I got nothing else going for me right now. Let's figure this out and keep going. And I think for me right now, it's okay, what's the next era? What does this look like into the future? How can I help build that future for media within the industry?
I love that. And I love that continuum you kind of or that evolution. So in the beginning it was start telling this brand story of a particular company, then you're no longer with the company and you're like, okay, well, hey, I gotta go, I'm going out here, and you're really just building a business at that point in its own sense. And then as things grow and as things change, you're like, wait a minute, and realistically, I mean, at your tenure, and especially when you started, you're one of the most experienced people like in the world, realistically. Like you grew up in it's in your blood, like it's different. So you have a voice that's definitely different in the industry. And if you combine that with your tenure and your pedigree and your commitment to podcasting and media, and now obviously I'm looking at for those that are driving in the car, you can't see the backdrop that Sarah has, but it's absolutely beautiful. Her design skills, everything else, or your team's design skills have completely hit a whole nother level. So that's all brand new. So I love that.
I can't take credit for that. I did have some help with this, although I was able to stack my books. I mean, I think I did a good job. It's called I Buried Her in a French Press. So we've got a little French press here. So anyway, throw my taste in here every once in a while.
Let's get further into what you're doing over at and with this new partnership with Google and or I don't know if it's with Google, with Gemini, with cloud. Like I know there's a lot of infrastructure there, but how do you want to tee up like what's going on right now? I want to hear more about that.
Yeah. So we've been building the business year over year. You know, when I think about the pandemic, when you could start going live on LinkedIn, I tested it out during the pandemic. My first few lives were a little bit like, "Hey guys, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm here to say hi." You know, and we built from there, right? We are content creators within the supply chain, trusted, incredible, and it's sort of like, you know, AI is coming into the forefront. What does that look like? There's a lot of discussion around what does that look like in media. And I really wanted to see what the possibilities were and what that could look like within our content. And I knew about a year or so ago that I wanted to create some sort of interactive experience with the podcast rather than it just be, you know, two-dimensional, right? I wanted people to be able to explore a little bit more or get a summary when they needed it, when they couldn't necessarily watch the whole episode.
Hmm.
And I wasn't sure what that looked like, but we went on this journey with Google.
Yeah.
And we were like, this is what we're trying to do. They talked to us about how they wanted to get Gemini in the hands of more professionals and leaders within the supply chain to really
Mm,
understand what that capability is. And so out of that, and it was quite a few discussions, and it took us quite a while to get to where we're at today.
right.
But I really credit that partnership
Mm,
with Google and the discussions that we were able to have, and really just the journey of, you know, what can we do here? What can we not do? What's possible? And
mhm.
we've just done a soft launch of the AI interactive podcast experience on our website on Friday. And what that means is you can actually,
Congratulations, by the way. Like that's
thank
a big
you.
deal. That's not easy.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
To
we're
you
super.
and your team. I know it's a lot of people that made that happen. Congrats.
Yeah, our team, their team. We also had a development team as well that was working with both brands to be able to make
Mm,
this happen. And everybody really came together and did a great job. And what we were realizing also with the leaders in supply chain is how are they consuming content? We
mm,
wanted to meet them where they're at when it comes to content. And so, what are they doing? Well, they're summarizing their emails. They're looking to press a button to really get a summary of what the content actually means for them and to pull out the pieces of news that they
mm.
need to know so that they can take it to their organization, they can take it to their teams, and things are at their fingertips. And so that's what we did.
Yeah.
We created a very easy to use experience where at the click of the button, you're getting all the information that you need. But there's one unique button on there, which Adam, you tested out before we came on live, and it
I
was ask
did.
the host a question. So tell us how that went, because I want everybody to hear it from you, not from me.
I'm gonna tell you about that. I want to go further into functionality, but I want to stick in the beginning of this
Sure.
this concept of working with a company as large as Google. Like it's just so amazing to be able to go and do that. What inspired you to even go down that road? I know you wanted to progress. I know you want to do things, but it's kind of like not everybody does that. So I like that's different. That's different. That's new. Like sometimes people have ideas, but they don't
Yeah.
implement on that level. Like what gave you that, like, I don't know if the word's gumption or what made you like move that forward? That's interesting to me.
Yeah. So originally there was something that had happened at a conference, and I was
Mhm.
given the opportunity to be introduced to Google and their marketing team and
Mhm.
talking to them about what they wanted to do in the industry.
Yeah.
And if anybody knows me, they know that I get on a call without very many set expectations. I
Mhm.
love a good sort of brainstorm. You know, what
Mm.
is it that your goals are? These are what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, how are you thinking about it in the industry? How do you want to position yourself? How do you want that to look? And so
Mhm.
it took a few calls like that, and so
Of
we created
course.
we created some content with them. So we've got a couple of podcast episodes about who they are and what they do and how they
Mm.
help professionals within supply chain. But
Yes.
through those conversations, we realized that we wanted to take it a little bit further and that they really wanted to get the experience. They wanted
Mm.
professionals and leaders to touch and feel Gemini. to understand the power of it. Rather than just speaking about it, they wanted them to play around with it. And we came to the realization that through content, we can really drive that to a lot of different professionals and leaders to make that happen so that they can see what's possible as well. So that's how it happened. I mean, it was several conversations over.
It's great. It's a great thing because I think it's inspiring too for other people. It doesn't have to be podcasting, doesn't have to be, it could be, but like to think about, like, because for me, when I heard this, I'm like, man, who does that? Like, I just personally never had the idea, but even if I did have the idea, I'm gonna be like, let me call up Google real quick. I need them to work on something for me. My brain doesn't normally work that way. So I think it's fun for you to share this, and not just fun, but inspiring for you to share this, because to make things like this happen, hopefully you give somebody else the idea of when they need to call Google or Amazon or whoever they're calling. I don't know.
I'm a little persistent, not gonna lie.
There we go. You took the next question out of my mouth. It had to take persistence, right? Like a lot of people they could partner, a lot of people they could do things with, but you obviously shone through, and you also led with, there's something else that I noticed here in your answers, that you led with value. Like you were bringing them on your show, you were letting them see it, you got to know, and there was a bit of like relationship built there over that time. I'm guessing, am I off or?
No, you're right. And I want to give the team over at Google Supply Chain and, some credit here as well, because it really took persistence on their side too. Absolutely. I mean, when you're managing through a large organization like that, you have to have a champion. And they were definitely champions of this project and could really see the vision of what it would mean for not only them, but also the industry as well. So it's not just one-sided. It really took both sides coming together. And I want to share my appreciation for them for that.
That's great. Now circling back to your question, which I wasn't skirting it. I just wanted to stick in that a little bit longer, because I think that I knew there was more story there, because I'm still like, no, you don't just like call up and like, let me go hit up, where's Elon or whoever I want to do something with. Come on. It doesn't usually happen that way. So I'm proud of you and the whole team, both teams. So getting back to your question, that ask a question functionality on the interactive experience was so next level. It was so much fun. I got to, and for everybody listening, the website again, letstalksupplychain.com. And when you scroll down, you're going to see something that says AI interactive podcast experience. And there's the latest discussion was there, and I'm sure other ones will pop up in the future, if they're not already up there. But I started with the first one, which was a gentleman by the name of Carlos Perico, who was featured episode 530. And there's this little ask a question a fun function there, and that was the fun part. Well, there's a couple sections. So executive trends, key points. It makes it really super easy to get the information you want if you don't have time to listen to the full episode. Like you can, it's pretty cool because it's interactive and you get to exactly what you want. And of course, if you can listen to the full episode, you put it on. But then the ask a question part was pretty cool. So I asked what procurability was, and it came up, but I thought it was going to be some generic answer at first, but it wasn't a generic answer. It gave the information, and it also even attributed the guest for the key points they said using their names, titles, everything else. So I was like, wow, that was next level. I'm like, okay, you guys built something nice there. I have FOMO. I have FOMO. You know how you see somebody with a nice toy and you're like, I want one too.
Because you were going through the buttons. You're like, what is this? Ask the host a question. And I went, why don't you try it?
You're like, fingers crossed. Why don't you try it? No, and it was great. It worked out great. It gave me the key points. It attributed exactly what the guest said. So like, I was just absolutely thrilled with the whole experience of it. And I was like, oh man, it's a great product. So I feel like people are going to get a lot of value of it going forward.
Yeah, and this is only phase one. We are talking to the dev team about what we're missing, what could phase two potentially look like, because obviously we want to keep innovating and see what we can do with it. We are adding, I believe, a demo button as well, because a lot of the companies that we have on the podcast, they have a technology platform.
Yeah.
And so the audience, if they want to know more, they can click a demo button, go and check out their demo. And so that, if it's not there already, it should be there, because that was one of the key features that we wanted to do as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. What's the vision for this going forward? I know you mentioned part of it, but like, let's dream for a moment. Like, in your wildest dream, what does this thing look like in, 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, whatever? Like, what's the vision?
For the company or for the AI interactive?
Both. Because I feel like they're intertwined now. That's just my opinion, though. I obviously don't know what you want to do, but that's why I'm asking the question. But what's the vision for the whole thing?
Well, the podcast experience itself, I mean, I don't know about you, but AI is adapting. I don't want to use the word changing, because like, I feel like we're using that word for everything. It's adapting and learning every single day, and all of the LLMs are changing and upgrading and whatever that. So we don't actually still even know all of the possibilities that it can drive for us. So I think for me, around the experience, keeping an eye on what is possible, what comes out that shows what's possible, working with my team and the dev team to refine it, make it even better, continue to ingest all of our content so that it can continue to learn and refine the experience. So for me, that's the journey of what we've just started on Friday. What we launched on the website, what we've just started, we're sort of at the beginning. And I don't even know if I could tell you what's possible in 5 years, because we don't really know. I mean, even 6 months from now, I don't know where AI is going to be.
Right.
For the company, though, this year we're expanding into Asia and Europe. And so we're taking the business model of what we've created within North America as Let's Talk Supply Chain, and we're going to be replicating that for Let's Talk Supply Chain Asia and Let's Talk Supply Chain Europe. And right now we are currently looking for a host in Europe as well. So if anybody knows anybody, let me know, because we're currently looking for one. And so what's next for us is that. And then obviously we want to build those brands in those different regions over the next couple of years. And maybe look into other regions as well. I'd like to get into South America at some point as well. So yeah.
Man, I think that's wonderful. In terms of the host thing, everything else you're talking about, how does that work? I mean, I might as well. We have a big podcast audience and a lot of people that follow on the podcasting side. How does that piece work? Obviously, they'll follow up and we'll leave contact information, but just to kind of plant the seed, especially Latin America, other things like that, as you choose to grow and expand. How does that piece work?
Yeah. So currently we've hired a host in Asia who is local to the markets. And that's what we want. We want somebody local who can speak to supply chain within that region. Supply chain is global, but it's also very regional in the fact that it looks different in different regions and continents, right? So what works in North America doesn't necessarily work in Asia or Europe. And there's different rules and regulations that are in each region as well. And so we're looking for somebody local who can really do what we do here in North America. And so that's educating the market, creating safe space for conversation, talking about the latest news and trends within the supply chain, providing a platform to the companies within that region that have technology and logistics services that want to educate the market, have some thought leadership, but then also let the community know who they are and what they do so that they know who's out there. One of the things that we do with our podcast is that we showcase who the companies are and what they're doing so that professionals and leaders know who's on the market so that they can confidently reach out to the companies that they think align the most with who they are and what they're looking for. Because there's a lot of noise, right? There's a lot of companies out there. You can only Google so much. You know, you want to be able to understand what organizations are there and how are they thinking about the market and do they align with our values and where we're going in the future. And the only way to do that is through conversation. And so that's what we do with the podcast. And we're looking to emulate that in those different regions. So podcasts, LinkedIn Lives, live shows, case studies, all of that fun stuff.
Man, I love it. Sarah, this has been so much fun having you on the show today and getting to know more about your platform and Let's Talk Supply Chain. I know we're going to be doing another episode later in the year, and it's going to be fun because I'm going to see where all these other episodes are coming. It's going to be catching up, and I'm excited. I'm already excited for our next episode.
You're going
That
to
being
ask the host all sorts of questions in
Oh, I'm gonna be
that AI
like, all right,
interactive
Sarah, last
podcast
time we
experience.
talked, I was playing with these buttons. What's going on here? What's going on there? Give me some more FOMO because you guys are killing it. I'm in. How do people follow up? Like, how do people follow up? How do they connect? How do they follow the platforms, the social? Like, give us the rundown. I want my audience to definitely go check things out as well.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So to connect with us, Let's Talk Supply Chain is on LinkedIn. It's also on Instagram. We're on Facebook and YouTube. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll be able to get access to all of our lives and all of our playlists and podcasts and things like that. We've got a couple of newsletters. So LinkedIn newsletter, we've got our own newsletter at letstalksupplychain.com as well, where you can check out the AI interactive podcast experience. And then for me, Sarah Barnes-Humphrey on LinkedIn, Sarah Barnes-Humphrey on Instagram. That's kind of where I live the most. But you can also find more about myself and my book over at sarahbarneshumphrey.com.
Awesome. Sarah, again, this has been great having you on. For the audience, we're going to put a bunch of links like that Sarah just mentioned. We want you to go check out that AI interactive experience and also go connect and check out the platform overall. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Yes, you heard me correct. A daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So hit that subscribe or follow button. And Sarah, until the next time, thanks again.
Thanks so much for